So next we're going to cover placing of the concrete. So now we have the concrete in the truck. It's mixing. It's probably on the way to the site, and we're going to place it. One of the biggest benefits of Helix is the ability to just direct discharge the concrete without the need for pumping. So obviously, direct discharge is easy. Again, just watch the subgrade. Make sure you're not damaging the subgrade as you do that. One of the great applications of Helix is in footings. That ICC report I showed did cover footings, and just being able to earth form footings like this and just direct discharge into it is a great thing. You will not necessarily even notice the helix in the concrete unless you look very closely at it. You'll see the helix in it, but you'll see the concrete flows just like ordinary concrete. And it's really very simple to do this type of application. When it comes to pumping, we always get a lot of questions about pumping. Can you pump Helix? How high can you pump Helix? We pumped Helix about 25 stories up in the past. It generally follows the same rules that you normally have with pumping. The main thing is just to make sure that the concrete is mixed well. Usually the pumping systems will have a screen that's approximately the size of the hose. That's always a good idea. I don't have any particular, I've never heard of a particular issue where Helix has clogged a pump, but one of the reasons that screen is there is to prevent, if there is any clumping, that it would prevent a clump to go through that. If you do see a clump in the mix, which can happen, you can have one or two clumps typically at the very beginning or the very end of a batch. Make sure that you notify the batch plant and make sure that they're following that procedure, because one of the things I didn't mention with the pre-pour calls, it's just a good idea to just make sure that all the drivers are aware of the procedure. And because sometimes you end up with maybe one driver who didn't hear or maybe came in a little bit late and is doing things a little bit differently. So make sure you communicate with the plant if you see that kind of thing, because that thing or that type of problem can often be avoided. This is a telebelting. Telebelting is quite easy. You don't obviously have a small hose like that, but you can see this is an example of one of those grates that's there, and then the telebelting, and you see a laser screed here. So definitely compatible with those methods of placing.